What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Sports Degenerate podcast. It has been a minute since I've posted, a little over a month. I am sorry about that. Holidays came, life got busy, you know how it is. But today we got an end of the season review. Basically, I did this during the midseason. I did a midseason review. I made like 15 or so calls on some players going into this fantasy season. We're going to review the calls, see how I did. I will say I had a pretty good year. A lot of good calls, but also some bad calls as well. So let's hop into it. So I think I have a total of 16 players here. We'll start off with probably my biggest miss of the year. So we're going to start off with the miss, even though we have a lot of hits, but I'm humble. I admit when I'm wrong. Probably my biggest miss of the year was Kyren Williams. I told you guys not to draft him where he was going. I did not think he would be a top 15 running back, and he finished as the RB10 per game with 17 points per game and RB7 overall for the season. So he had a really good year. Going into the season, I didn't really love him on film. I thought he was just like an average player, and I thought a lot of his production was based on volume. I was wrong. Although he did get a lot of volume, that is part of his appeal, but he is a tough player. He breaks tackles. He gets more yards than he should. He has proven that he can be a workhorse runner, even though he's not big. He is a small guy, but he proved me wrong this season. I stand corrected. Next, let's hop over to Joe Mixon. A great call for me. I told all of you guys to draft Joe Mixon. I said that he would be a top 12 running back, and he finished as RB8 per game with 17.2 points per game. And he only finished as RB17 overall, but that's just because he missed a couple games due to some injuries. But when he played and he was healthy, he was a must start player. He was going in the fourth round, guys. He was going in the fourth round. That's way too late. I told you guys to draft him. I hope you guys drafted him. A lot of people going into this year said that he was washed, and they just didn't watch the tape if that's true. He was not washed coming into this year. He was going to a perfect Texans offense for him. It was perfect. So I hope you drafted him. Next, let's go to Zamir White. This one is so funny to me because this is the call I probably got the most hate on. I got a lot of hate of me telling people not to draft Zamir White, which is crazy. Which is crazy. Like, I got more hate on Zamir White than I did Kyren Williams. So I told you guys to not even touch Zamir White at all. Like, I don't care what the round was. I did not think he would be a top 30 running back. And guess what? He finished as the RB 73 per game, only averaging 3.7 points per game in the RB 87 overall. People really thought he was like a good player, and I didn't understand why. Like, when you watch the tape, he's literally like a league average running back at best. He doesn't make any separation, doesn't make any cuts, no juke moves. Literally can't create yards. If the yards are there, he'll run and get it, and that's literally all he does. But we see this every year. People fall in love with running backs every year because they think they are going to get a ton of volume because that's all he's the only person on the team. We see it every year. And every year I tell you guys, if a player isn't talented, he's not guaranteed volume. Talent always rises to the top every time. So I hope you guys don't make, I hope people don't make the same mistake next year. There's going to be another running back like this next year. I guarantee it. Next, let's go over to one of my avoided calls due to injury. Probably would have been my best call of the year. Rashee Rice, man. Rashee Rice. He would have been a league winner. I told you guys that he would be a top 15 wide receiver. And he did finish as wide receiver 15 per game, actually, with 16.2 points per game. But he only played 3 games of the season. He literally only played 3 games. So he finished as wide receiver 100 overall. But he had 64 points in 3 games. He was on pace to be Mahomes' number one guy, no doubt about it. An absolute league winner. But injuries are part of the game, so I can't take this as a good call. I'm just gonna say it's a void. Next, Christian McCaffrey, man. Christian McCaffrey. I hope you guys listened to me and did not take him with the number one overall pick. I didn't expect him to miss as many games as he did. Like, he basically missed the whole season, but there were so many signs that he was going to get injured. So I told you guys not to draft him. As you guys know, he finished as RB 25 per game, 12 points per game. So even when he did come back and play those couple games, he really wasn't that good. 12 points per game. And then the RB 69 overall. There were just so many signs. The fact that 2 years ago, not this season, but last season, he got so much work, so many carries. Usually running backs with that type of workload the year after tend to get hurt, especially when they are small, like framed. He's not Derrick Henry is different. He's a big running back. Christian McCaffrey's a very small running back. There were just so many signs. And another thing, just think about this going into next year as well. I'll bring it up during the offseason, but think about this going into next year. There hasn't been a repeat running back one in fantasy in over 20 years. Okay, think about that. There hasn't been a repeat RB1. So I think Saquon was the number one overall running back. He's most likely not going to be the number one overall running back next season. So just keep that in mind. Next, we'll go to my only other void of the season. Another wide receiver, Stefon Diggs. Basically a similar thing to Rashee Rice. I said he would be a top 12 wide receiver. He finished as wide receiver 18 per game, so he had 15.2 points per game. He didn't quite finish there per game, but he only played like half the season. He finished as wide receiver 65 overall because of that. When he was healthy, though, those first 8 weeks or 9 weeks, however many games he played, I can't remember, he was the wide receiver 10. He was the wide receiver 10. And some people might say, yeah, I mean, he was wide receiver 10. He could have got off to a good start and fell off, which, good argument. But this is what I'll say. This is why I think he would have continued to be good and continued to be a top 10 wide receiver. Look what happened to the Texans offense as soon as Stefon Diggs got hurt. Look at them. They're struggling to even win games going into the playoffs now. So I really do think he would have been a big part of the Texans offense throughout the whole year and continue to be a top 12 wide receiver like he was when he was healthy. But like I said with Rashee Rice, injuries are a part of the game. Let's go over to Josh Jacobs. I think this is probably my favorite call of the year. I said that he would be a top 5 running back. He finished as RB8 per game at 17.2 points per game and RB6 overall. I'm counting this as a correct call. He wasn't quite top 5, so technically I'm wrong, but I'm counting this as a good call because a lot of people were telling you guys not to draft him. A lot of fantasy analysts did not like him. I planted a flag. I put my foot down and told you guys to draft him. He was going in the 3rd round, and you got a top 6 running back in the 3rd round. Not only that, this is why I like it as a good call. The last half of the season, the last 6 or 7 weeks, he was literally scoring like over 20 points per game. If you had him, you most likely either made the playoffs, won the championship, you had a really successful season. So I'm counting it as a good call. The reason I liked him is I like the talent. He's not the most explosive running back. He's not going to bust off like 60, 70-yard runs. That's not his game. He is a true workhorse runner that will give you 5 yards, 5 yards, 5 yards, 6 yards every single carry. And this Packers offense is just perfect for him. I knew it was going to be like that. So probably my favorite call of the year, just because I put my foot down and really told you guys to draft him, and I hope you guys did. Next, another good call. I promise you guys, there's some bad calls at the end. There's some bad calls, but another good call. I told you guys not to draft Travis Kelce where he was being drafted. He was being drafted once again as the number 1 tight end in fantasy, and I told you guys he would be a bust at that ADP. And he finished as tight end 7 per game, only averaging 12.2 points per game, guys. Only 12.2 points per game in the tight end 5 overall. Think about this. Jonnu Smith finished higher than Kelce in per game and overall. And Jonnu Smith is a waiver wire tight end, just to put that into perspective. The reason I didn't want to draft Kelce, I've said it for last year and this year. Kelce doesn't care about the regular season. He's going to go through, get his couple catches whenever the Chiefs need to win in a regular season game. He will turn it up a little bit, but he really doesn't care. The whole Chiefs team doesn't care. Think about it. They barely win games. They win games by 1 point. They're just trying to get to the playoffs. But once the playoffs come this year, I bet Travis Kelce has some huge games. He's saving himself for the playoffs. He's saving his energy and saving his body. And another reason why, basically it's a correlation thing. I predicted that Rashee Rice would be the number 1 target, which therefore Kelce would take a back seat. That's kind of why I didn't want Kelce and why I wanted Rice, and it came out to be true. So the only other tight end call I made was George Kittle. I told you guys, I didn't really give you like a definitive call. I basically said that he was the best tight end value. I told you guys if you were going to draft a tight end like early, draft George Kittle. And He finished as the tight end 1 per game with 15.3 points per game and the tight end 3 overall. So I didn't think he was going to be the tight end 1 overall. Like I can't take credit for that. I didn't think that, but he was going as tight end 6 behind guys like McBride and I forgot who else. McBride and players like in Laporta, and I was like, bro, I'd rather just wait and draft Kittle because Kittle's like a top 5 tight end every single year, and it happened to be he was the tight end 1, and I think he's the best tight end in the league, in my opinion. Overall, blocking, catching, all that stuff, the best tight end in the league. So I hope you guys drafted him. He was a league winner. Let's move on to a bad call. So finally, a bad call here. Tony Pollard. I said that he would be a top 15 running back, and he finished as RB 22 per game with 12.5 points per game and the RB 21 overall. So he didn't finish as strong as I thought he would. So he's not a top 15 running back. So I can't take credit. It is a miss. But what I will say is he was going in the 8th round, and he gave you running back 2 numbers every single week. So I still think if you drafted him, you got a really good value on him. But I can't take credit just because he's not a top 15 running back. He wasn't in that elite tier of running backs. He was just a solid fantasy running back. I think the main thing here that ruined this call was just that Titans offense was so bad. I knew Will Levis wasn't the best, but I did not expect that Titans offense to be as bad as it was. So that's a miss by me. Next, another great call by me. Another person that put my foot down. T. Higgins. I said that he would be a top 15 wide receiver, and he finished as wide receiver 5 per game with 18.5 points per game and wide receiver 17 overall. So he missed probably 5-6 games due to injury, but when he played, he was elite in fantasy. Not only did he get you 18.5 points per game, he had multiple like 30-point games, 35-point games, 40-point games, huge blow-up games for you, and he won you weeks. So the reason I like T. Higgins, I honestly don't think T. Higgins is like a super elite talent. He's a good player. He is a really good player, but he's not like a Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, that he's just not that good of a player, but he is a solid player in the NFL. But the reason I liked him is because whenever Joe Burrow was healthy, that Bengals offense is one of the elites in the league, and we saw it this year. With Chase and Higgins on the field with Burrow, it's basically unstoppable. You can't guard both of those guys at the same time. So one of those guys are going to eat every single week. That's why I like T. Higgins. And T. Higgins was going as wide receiver 27 in drafts. My whole logic was whenever Burrow is healthy, T. Higgins is a top 15 wide receiver every single year. So I took him almost everywhere, and it paid off. So I hope you guys listened to that one. Let's go to T. Higgins' teammate. Another good call that honestly overperformed what I thought. Chase Brown, man. Preseason prediction was a top 20 running back, and I can't believe he finished as high. He finished as running back 14 per game with 15.9 points per game and RB 10 overall. And he didn't even really start playing until week 8, week 7, something like that. Like, it's crazy he finished that high. So, like I said, I didn't expect him to blow up like that, but I knew he was a good player. He was better than Zach Moss, in my opinion. I knew he would start to get more work and become a starting fantasy running back. But he, way, way, way overperformed. I can't take credit. I did not expect this. But like I said, I like the talent. He's a really explosive player who's on the smaller side. But think about this. He's basically Kyren Williams size. Way more fast, way more explosive, though. And he was on the offense with Joe Burrow. So I loved him, especially because he was being drafted in round 10. That's basically free. I drafted him in basically every single league. There were some leagues I had to drop him, which sucks. I didn't get him back. But yeah, man, absolute league winner, dude. Absolute league winner. Let's go to a similar type of player to Chase Brown. Chuba Hubbard. Another one that way overperformed what I thought. But I told you guys that he will be a running back 2 in fantasy for at least the first 4 weeks in fantasy. The reason I said 4 weeks is because preseason, we didn't know how long Jonathan Brooks was going to be out. We were told that maybe he comes back in week 4, week 5. But I told you guys to draft Chuba Hubbard until then because he will be a solid running back 2. And he finished as RB 13 per game with 16.1 points per game and RB 14 overall. Like I said, he way overperformed what I thought because I did not think Chuba would be the starter for the whole season. And he was a whole season starter. He was one of the only bright spots for that Panthers team for the majority of the year. And honestly, he's a better talent than I thought. Like I thought he was a good talent coming into this year, but this year he proved he is a starting running back in the NFL. Like going into this year, I kind of thought he was like a let me think of a comp real quick. Like a I'm trying to think of somebody that's not a full-time player. Like Tajay Spears, you know, who he splits work with Pollard. I was thinking something like that, where like he can fill in as a starter while the starter's hurt or something like that. But Chuba is a starting running back in the league. 100%, no doubt about it. He is a starting running back in the league. And the Panthers paid him. The Panthers paid him like a lot of money because of that. And he was being drafted in round 11, bro. 11. He was cheaper than Chase Brown. If you drafted him, congratulations, man. Congratulations. Let's go to another big miss by me. I was completely wrong on this one. Josh Palmer. So I'm a Chargers fan, so I watch a lot of Chargers tape, a lot of Chargers game. Going into this year, I thought Josh Palmer would be a top 24 wide receiver, and I was completely wrong here, guys. He was wide receiver 80 per game at 7.2 points per game, and wide receiver 74 overall. So my logic for Josh Palmer was Keenan Allen left, Mike Williams left, Austin Eckler left. There really wasn't a lot of options, and Palmer has put up some good tape. I still think Palmer is a good player, despite what he did this year. I think Palmer is like Jacoby Myers, but even a little bit faster, a little bit more athletic, but a Jacoby Myers type, a solid wide receiver that can put up wide receiver one like production when needed to, but he's not a true wide receiver one. You know, a player like that. But I figured there's no wide receivers. Palmer can fill in as the wide receiver one for Herbert this year and be like a top 24 wide receiver, average like 12, 14, 15 points per game, you know? But what happened was Ladd McConkey came in and absolutely stole the show. Basically, I thought Palmer would be Ladd McConkey. That's what I was thinking, but Ladd McConkey is a way better player. He came in, stole the show. I was wrong. But I still like Palmer as a player. I'm interested to see if he goes to another team next year, where he goes. I like him as a player still. Another huge miss. This is probably my second like biggest miss other than Kyron Williams. Javonte Williams. I was telling you guys to draft Javonte Williams, and I hope you guys didn't listen because he was going around the same spot as Tony Pollard. So some of you guys might have taken him over Tony Pollard. I know I did in a couple leagues, and man, he was terrible. Preseason's prediction was a top 20 running back, and he finished as RB 38 per game with only 9.3 points per game and RB 30 overall. So my logic for this was usually Sean Payton's offenses, either on the Saints or the Broncos, whatever he coached, usually running backs are really productive in his system because they get a lot of catches, a lot of goal line work, a lot like they're just really productive. Think about Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara, like really productive running back seasons. And I think Javonte is a good talent. Like he's not the same at pre-injury as he is post-injury. He's a little bit slower, but I still don't think it's his fault that he sucked this year. I just think that Broncos offense was not good for running backs. There wasn't a single running back on the Broncos that was fantasy relevant. But I just thought that Broncos offense would be more friendly for running backs, and it really wasn't. It was just Bo Nix, Courtland Sutton, and that's basically it the whole year. I was wrong. Javonte is a free agent going into this season, so we'll see where he goes. I still think Javonte is a solid player, but I was wrong on him this year. And then the last call, I take pride in this one as well because everyone was telling you to draft Marvin Harrison in the first 2 rounds. And I said, absolutely not. Do not draft him there. He is going way too high. I got a lot of flack on that. A lot of people saying, oh, you're not taking risk. Oh, you got to take risk to win big. And look what happened. I said he would not be a top 20 wide receiver, which he was being drafted as like wide receiver 10. So I said he wouldn't even be top 20. He finished as wide receiver 42 per game, only 11.6 points per game, and wide receiver 30 overall. This was my logic. I didn't think that Marvin Harrison would be as bad as he was this year. Like Marvin Harrison was worse than Ladd McConkey, Brian Thomas, Malik Neighbors. Like he was not even close to the best rookie wide receiver. I didn't predict that. My whole logic was he can be the best rookie wide receiver and still not put up top 20 numbers. Like in my eyes, think about this. If he had 1,100 yards and 6 touchdowns, which I don't even know if he had that this year. I don't know his stats. I didn't look. But if you have 1,100 yards and 6 touchdowns, which is good for a rookie, that's not a top 20 wide receiver. People were drafting him ahead of like players like DJ Moore and like DJ Moore, Zay Flowers, stuff like that. Like players that are proven commodities that we've seen put on good tape, and it was just way too high. But what I will say, every single year there's always an overhyped rookie. 2 years ago, Bijan Robinson was being drafted in the first 2 rounds, and it's the same thing. I think Bijan is a way better player than Marvin Harrison, but I still told you guys not to draft him because rookies should not go that high. Rookies should not go over proven talent because we see it. Even if there are generational prospects coming out of college, people bust all the time. So I hope you guys listened. And I'm not saying Marvin Harrison is a bad player. He could become an elite fantasy wide receiver even just next year. If maybe he grows after his first year in the league. But for this year, no shot I was taking him anywhere near where he was going. So I hope you guys listened. So what's the total record here? Let me see. We have a total of 16 calls. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 out of 16 calls with 2 voids. So really I got 10 out of 14 calls correct. I got 4 wrong on the year. I can't promise you guys that I will be that good going into next year. Like, I bet I'm going to miss more calls next year, but it was a very good year on fantasy predictions for the 2024 season. I hope you guys listen. If you guys were listening to me throughout the whole season, preseason, I appreciate you guys. Kind of my plan, go after, like, I'll do some playoff stuff. I'm going to post some NFL playoff stuff. I haven't been doing as much as the betting content as I normally have. I'm kind of taking a backseat on betting right now just because I haven't been doing that good, to be honest with you guys. So I kind of got to get back in the groove and win some money. I don't want to lose you guys money. My plan going into the offseason, I'm going to start doing really breaking down film on players. Like, I'm thinking about doing like a rookie quarterback, who was the best rookie quarterback, who was the best rookie running back, stuff like that, breaking down film, really crunching the numbers, all that stuff to go really into depth during the offseason to give you guys content going into the offseason. So I will post a little bit of NBA stuff, but I'm more of an NFL guy. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to continue to post stuff every single week, even when the NFL season ends. But I appreciate you guys for supporting me with this 2024 season. Let's keep making content. Let's get big going in 2025. Hopefully I can start making money off this. I really appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I love all of you.